some up, and some down, and some up. Okay? That's how it works. Now, unfortunately, due to a technical error with my tracking software, I can't show you my results for April, May, and June yet. Okay? July's not close, so I generally don't do that until the end of the month. But what I can tell you is I was down, I was up, up, break even, down a little bit in June, and right about here in July, I'm kind of okay so far. We'll see how July ends up. But still, you're seeing that consistency every year. And that's really what we're looking for. So whether we go up, whether we go down, we're going to see that. I had a little bit of a drawdown, less than 1% in January, February, March, I was up over 5%. And then, like I said, April, I think I had a little bit of drawdown in April. May, I made a little bit of money. June was kind of an even money. And then July, we'll see what happens. So hopefully in the next couple of days, I can update this slide as soon as my tracking software comes back online. Apparently, there was some sort of a data glitch. All right. I've been teaching this technique to students now since 2016. And one of my recent students sent me this email back in December. And he said, "Hey, Ron, just wanted to send a quick email to thank you and your team for the SPX Paycheck course back in September. I've been using the method and tracking my performance and thought you'd like to see the results. I earned my first 35 Delta trade on September 21st, 23 with only 5,000 in my margin account. Now less than 3 months later, I'm already up 24%. Thanks again. I'll be teaching this method to my retired in-laws and help them grow their account in retirement." And listen, I love to hear that because it's not about my results. It's about what you can obtain too. And this is also a lesson. You don't have to dedicate 100 grand to this. You can start small while you learn and practice, but it builds up quickly. Now, for example, if you started with 5,000 bucks and you average that 3% per month, now again, it doesn't have to be 3% per month. You can have months where you have drawdown, but over the course of 12 months, it should average out to about 3%. Compounded over 15 years, that puts you to $1 million. Now, if you start with 25,000, you'd be near $1 million after 10 years, and you're looking at some serious money. Now, clearly, if you have more than $5,000 or $25,000, you're going to get there much, much faster. This is an opportunity really to grow things quickly. Okay? Now, some of my clients were kind enough to share their photo and their results with you, and we're going to talk about a few of them today. And these are real people just like you. So as I teach you the system today and share their stories, I want you to pay attention because you might find you're in a similar position now as they were when they first started. Now again, my name is Ron Wheeler. I'm the option income coach here at VectorVest. I've been trading now for over 25 years. I started back in 97, so I guess I'm at like 27 years. Now when I first started trading, the first couple of years, I had mostly losses. And the reason why is because, well, number one, I was a day trader. I traded commodity futures. And it wasn't so much that I traded commodity futures and those were tough to make money on. It's like any new trader, right? You got to learn how to trade. You got to learn to be right to make money. You got to learn to manage your money. If I bought something, it had to go up. If I didn't, or if it didn't, I lost money. Then when you finally figure out how to find direction, then you got to make sure your winners are paying for your losers and all that kind of stuff, right? Well, there's an easier way. A big aha moment came to me when one of our clients, who was a hedge fund manager, came to visit our office. He showed me the secrets of how the big guys trade and make money, those institutions. Long story short, he showed me the secrets to using options so that even if I was wrong with my analysis, I could still make money. He showed me how to use options in a way that controls risk. So there is no more hard management of winners versus losers. He showed me how to stack probability. That way, even if the trade didn't go in my direction, I could still make money. Think of the pressure that takes off you. You don't even have to be right to make money. Now, in today's webinar, I'm going to show you the exact system I use to generate these types of returns. I'm going to show you case studies and examples of our clients who are doing this. And I'm going to show you our system so that if you learn and follow our strategies, you can do the same. So if you stay with me to the end, I put together a checklist to help you plan out your trades. It's a PDF. I'll put it right in the handout section of the webinar. I'll drop it in there. So click on it, print it out. But do me a favor. Remind me when we get to the Q&A section at the end because a lot of times after about an hour, I forget. Okay? All right. Now, why is this such an important topic? Well, without an income system, it's on you. And that creates a number of problems for us. If you're not retired, it keeps you stuck in a situation where we have to work in order to live. Whether you got a lot of money or no money at all, concerns about finance are one of the leading causes of stress. Worrying about whether we'll have enough or if we'll run out of money, that can have an impact on our life, our health, our relationships. So if you're already retired, you might be watching your savings get depleted faster than you can fill it, especially with how inflation's been the last 3-4 years, right? If things don't improve, you may have that fear you'll continue to have losses that draw down your account. You might even fear you'll have to give up on investing and go back to work. Worst case scenario, you'll run out of money during retirement. Now, with a system that helps you generate income, things are a lot different. And I think this is probably the most important point of the webinar. So pay attention, write down what I'm about to say. In order to be financially free, our main need is income. To be financially free, all you need to do is learn to generate enough income from your investments to cover your expenses and lifestyle needs. Now, let me say this again. In order to become financially free, you need to learn to generate enough income from your investments to cover your expenses and lifestyle needs. Whether you're still working or retired, the ability to generate income from your investments is one of the most empowering skill sets you can have. Because when you have the ability to generate income from your investments, your life will change. Now, if you're still working, you can increase your earning capacity. It's like having a second job. If you're retired, you can have a consistent source of income as if you quit your job, but they kept paying you. It's like a tap you can turn on whenever you want, which allows you to do the things you want to do now and when you retire. When you get a system to help you generate income, it can even help you retire younger. Now, as I said before, I believe this is one of the most important points of the presentation, so I'll say it again. When the income from our investments exceeds our living expenses, we become financially free or have the ability to retire. For example, Brian's a client of ours who's a great example of how you can become proficient at drawing an income from the market even if you don't want to invest a lot to begin with. Now, Brian had some health problems, and he said he needed a way to supplement his income. By using the paycheck system, he was able to generate $23,000 in profit starting with just $6,000. He said he achieved 100% winning trades in 10 months. 31 of 31 winning trades using our most basic system. Now, the key point here, and I want you to remember this, it wasn't beginner's luck. It was the result of following the system. It's the system that helped Brian get those 100% winning trades and create that $23,000 in profit starting with just $6,000 in 10 months safely. Now, the first thing you need to know to take control of your returns, it's a bit of a strategic mindset shift. You're either going to continue being the gambler where you lose more than you win, or you're going to become an option seller and win more than you lose. Being an option seller is the way that you can make consistent income each month. It allows you to win even when you're wrong. Now, the reason why you want to be the casino or the house is that, number one, the house always wins. Number two, why does the house always win? Because they control and they stack probability in their favor. The options paycheck system is built around you stacking the odds massively in your favor. So make a note of this. In order to control your returns and results, you need to know how to stack probability in your favor. So the obvious question is, how do we do that? Well, the first step is that shift from being the buyer of options to being the seller. So let me explain. Bruce is a great example of that shift from gambling on stocks to being the casino and controlling and stacking probability in his favor. He said prior to working with us, he had mainly taken stock tips from brokers. Bruce focused on our SPX income system, which is our most basic trading system. He said he's not the most technical person in the world, but in the time he's been working with us, he's grown his trading account from $100,000 to $497,000 in 3.5 years. He's achieving a 74% win percentage simply by following the rules of the options paycheck system, and it takes him, in his words, only around 15 minutes a day. So let me show you how this works. Here's an example of a typical trade you've been taught to make. You find a stock you like, you think it'll go up, so you either buy shares of it or maybe you buy a call. Now, why do you buy a call option? Well, mainly because when you started learning options, it's what you were taught to do. But what ends up happening a lot of times? Well, there's either the stock doesn't go up or it doesn't go up enough and the call you bought ends up expiring worthless. Has it ever happened to you? Yes? Well, what's the problem causing you to lose? Most people feel their problem is they picked, well, maybe the wrong stock. Maybe they picked the wrong strike price of the option or the wrong expiration. But let's talk about the real problem. If you've been losing money or had more losers than winners with other systems, it's not your fault. That's because most of the systems on the planet teach you to be on the wrong side of the trade. You're taught to buy an option. But as a buyer, the probabilities are not on your side. And for most people, they end up buying and losing and buying and losing and buying and losing. Our options paycheck system teaches you a new way of thinking. You need to be a seller and not a buyer. This is how you get ahead of everyone else. This is how you put probability on your side. This is how you win even if you're wrong. So let's take a closer look at selling options. Now, as a buyer, a typical trade gives you a 50-50 chance to be a winner. Because when you buy, the only way you make money is if the stock moves in your direction. So instead of having that buyer's mentality, we're going to have a seller's mentality. Instead of hoping a stock goes up, as a seller, you're going to strategically set up your trade using probability. Probability will tell you where the stock is not likely to go. So instead of needing the stock to just go in your direction, you can pick a price which says basically, as long as the stock doesn't go down to here, I can make money. Now think about that. You can pick a price down here, and as long as the stock stays above it, you can make money. So look at this. Stock's at 204. If you bought the stock at 204, the only way you make money is if it goes up from 204. If it goes down to 200, you lose. Now what we've done is we've created a bigger area to make money. As long as that $204 stock doesn't fall below 195, we make money. If the stock goes up, you win. If the stock stays sideways, you win. Even if the stock comes down a little, you can still make money. Right from the very beginning, probability is in your favor. And you can even increase that probability even more. You can simply choose a lower price, which gives you a bigger area where you can be right. Now, we do a lot of our trades that start off with that probability of 70%. And you can only do this as an option seller. As a seller, you're putting the probability of success in your favor. And this is the definition of an income trade. An income trade is one where you can make money even if you're wrong on direction. That's the key. We want to be able to make money even if we're wrong on direction. That's how you add probability. Now, Bruce continues to trade with me every week. In fact, he's become a very, very good trader. In fact, in our private group, he said, another day of trading on the beach. Got my eyes on AMC and a cold beer. Life's good. Thank you, VectorVest and Ron, for giving us the tools to do what we do from anywhere. That's a great picture of being financially free. Now, Mike was someone who dabbled with options but lost on each of his trades. Have you ever been there? Can you imagine how frustrating it must be to lose on each trade? Eventually, he gave up. He tried to learn more about options, but he said he never felt comfortable he knew what he was doing. He had all of this knowledge, but no set criteria of how to use it. So Mike and I worked together. I taught him the options paycheck system, becoming an option seller, and he said he became like an income machine. After he learned the system, he immediately went out and said he had 17 out of 19 winning trades with a profit of over $12,000 in 4 months. Now, the key lesson here is this: that shift from buyer to seller, gambler to the house, is what turned his situation around. In fact, he was so proud of his success, he even sent me a spreadsheet of his trades. Here's Mike's results. Notice the number of winners compared to losers. That's pretty typical. Also notice the length of the trades. 2, 3, 4, 5, 11. He's pulling in about $1,000 every 7 to 11 days. Now, if you're like Mike and a lot of our students, you can begin trading the SPX, which is the index that tracks the S&P. That involves only one trade per week and has averaged about 4.5% per month since 2016. The odds are stacked in your favor, okay? Compounding returns over 4.5%. You're not looking for one big home run trade to become a millionaire overnight. You're growing your account steadily each year. And that's really the key takeaway. Home runs look good, but singles win the games. These singles are what will enable you to never run out of money and be able to do the things that you want to do. So, you've seen by flipping from buyer to seller, gambler to the house, you can stack odds significantly in your favor. Now what we're going to do is we're going to stack the odds even further, because that's what we're going to do. We're going to keep stacking odds in our favor as much as we can. And we're going to capitalize on 3 of the most common buyers or gamblers' mistakes. Mistake number 1, is that buyers choose unrealistic strikes. They choose strikes that are so far away, the stock has no chance of hitting it. Here's a stock. Let's say someone's bullish on the stock. A mistake a lot of option buyers make is they'll buy a call with their strike price way above the current price of the market. Now, why do they do that? Well, because they're cheap. Many buyers treat options like lottery tickets, and most of the time they lose. They're like gamblers. Now, since there's always going to be buyers out there who buy these options, you may as well be the one who sells it to them. You're selling an option that has a low probability of getting hit. Since it has a low probability of getting hit, that means you have a high probability of winning. The same goes for puts. So basically, in a nutshell, the stock's at 216. As long as the stock stays below 230, you win. Okay? That's what I mean by being hit. If the stock stays below 230, you win. Now, on the flip side, maybe you think the stock is going to go down. Well, there's people who buy puts down here as either lottery tickets, they think the stock is going to go down too, or they buy cheap insurance. Doesn't matter. In this case, doesn't matter. Again, there's always going to be buyers out there who are doing this. So in this case, we sell them that $200 put. And as long as the stock stays above $200, we make money. Our trades give us a 60 to 90% probability of success right from the very start. Now, the second mistake that option buyers make is they choose expirations that are simply too close to the current date. It's like going to the grocery store and seeing a piece of steak on the discount rack. It's cheap, yes, but it will be worthless very soon. And the same is true for options. Here you see what happens to the price of an option in relation to the number of days to expiration. So if you start in the upper left-hand corner of the graph, right up here where my little pointer's at, notice that the time value of the option is going down until right here, right? That's 180 days. Over that 180 days, it took 135 days to lose half of the option's value. In the last 45 days, the price really drops off. Now, a lot of buyers buy those options with less than 45 days to expiration. Well, why? Why do they buy options with so little time left? It's because the options are inexpensive. They're cheap. It's like buying a lottery ticket. But by doing this, you're stacking probability against you. Remember I talk about how the stock went up but didn't go up enough? You ran out of time. So instead of buying options in those windows, we're going to sell options in that final 45 days. And to be more specific, our paycheck system uses expirations that are 21 to 45 days away. That's really the sweet spot for what we do things. Now, let me show it to you in another way. This is a graph of Home Depot. Most buyers will buy an option with an expiration maybe out here, right? A month and a half away in that 45-day window. But that expiration is too close because even if the stock goes up, the value of your option is declining faster and faster and faster. That's bad for you as an option buyer. We don't want to do that. We're going to be the option seller now. We're going to let that time decay work in your favor. Remember, there's always people buying options that have expiration dates too close. You may as well be the one who sells it to them. Let them be the gambler. You be the casino because you are going to win in the end way more than they will. Now, the third mistake is buyers pay too much. They buy what's called an overpriced option. Now, this is a big deal. A lot of people don't know this one. So this is huge. Let me show you what I'm talking about. You got two stocks, one on the left, one on the right. Both of them are about $76. In fact, they're within like 12 cents of each other, right? Same price essentially. But even though those options, or even though those stocks have the same price, look at the difference in option premium. The stock on the left is a $910 option premium. So to buy a call on that stock on the left would cost you $910. Over on the right, if you bought a call on that option, it's only going to cost you $180. Why do they have such different prices? I mean, it's the same price, same strike price, same expiration. Why are they so off? Well, the option on the left has extremely high volatility. The option on the right does not. Now, who cares? Okay, it's just more expensive. We're all used to that, right? Inflation nowadays, everything's more expensive. It just is what it is. We got to live with it. No, this is totally different. The best way I found to describe this, hopefully you agree, is my kids love strawberries, okay? I can go through 8 quarts of strawberries a week for my 3 kids. Now, strawberries typically cost about $2.50 a pint, sometimes $2, right? Depending on how I shop and where I shop. So when strawberries are $2 a pint, I like to buy them. They're good value. The kids love them. But occasionally, they're $4.50 a pint. Well, I still buy them. They still taste the same, and the kids still eat them. I just complain about how much they cost, okay? They still eat the same. The kids still eat them. I just whine about the cost. There's no ulterior negative to it. Well, with the option world, it's a little bit different. Let's pretend both of these stocks go up $8. Think about that. You bought 100 shares of each stock. The stock goes up $8. You just made $800. Yay. But you don't want to buy stock anymore. You want to buy options, right? Options are awesome. They're liquid. They provide leverage. Just a good way to trade. Well, take a look. The overpriced option on the left, if that stock goes up $8 a share, you actually lost money. The stock on the right, if that went up $8 a share, you actually made about a 300 and some % return. Why? This isn't like strawberries, right? There is a negative side effect to these expensive options. And it is the stock has to go up a lot more for you to see profits. Think about what you're seeing here. 2 trades. You got the direction right. 1 trade lost, 1 trade won. Why? Because of that high volatility. The person who bought options of stock number 1 didn't pay attention to volatility, and they paid way too much. But we're going to use that high volatility to our advantage. We are going to seek out those expensive, overpriced options, and we are going to sell them instead. Why? Because number 1, the more premium that we can sell an option for, the lower amount of risk that we have. We can risk a lot less money. Number 2, the more expensive the premium is, the more probability we can get in it also. By selling overpriced options, we're stacking probability and reducing risk even more. It's a very important part of what we do. Now, another one of our clients, Bob, he has one of the most interesting stories I've seen. He said prior to working with us, he was making a bunch of the mistakes we talk about here, and it said it cost him dearly. In fact, he ended up either broke or bankrupt 3 times. In his own words, came close to living under a bridge. The options paycheck system helped Bob turn his situation around in as little as 4 months. He learned to turn these mistake liabilities into strategies that controlled and stacked probability in his favor. In 4 months, Bob grew his account by 71%, and he said he achieved a 79% winning trade percentage. Remember, not beginner's luck. It's the system. In order to control your returns and your results like Bob, you have to learn how to control and stack probability in your favor. Now let me ask you, in the chat window, I want you to share with me, have any of you ever made these option buyers mistakes? Just do me a favor. Just type yes or no in the chat. Just yes or no. It doesn't have to be a long sentence or anything. Just share with me quickly. All right. Yes, Paul, Joyce. I see you guys were the first to chime in there. Absolutely. Matt V, Brian, Robert. All right. Yeah, you're all flying in. Listen, you're going to love this. And when I first started trading, I hated options. I was not an options fan at all because I ran into the same problems. I ran into these mistakes. But now I'm basically a 99% option trader. It's not our fault. We were taught a broken system, a bad way to be an options trader. Now, let's kind of move forward here. Now that you want to be an options seller, let's look at how to trade with very little risk. Because when a lot of people hear the word options, and especially the term selling options, they think it's risky. However, the options paycheck system uses a low-risk strategy for selling options, and this is why it's a core strategy we teach our retirees. Now, why is reducing risk so important? Well, one of the biggest horror stories I hear from clients is, well, you know, Ron, I tried selling options, or a buddy of mine sold options, and he made money, just like you said, 31 or 31 winning trades, and one bad trade came in and wiped all his wins out. That can happen. That can happen when you're using a bad system. Most people who are not using the options paycheck system, they're not preserving their capital. They can have one bad trade wipe out all the gains from a bunch of winners. One of the cool parts about using the system properly is you know your risk up front. I've never had this happen to me before. Do you want to know why I never had it happen to me? Not because I'm super trader. It's because I would never take a trade where this could happen. That's the cool part. You know your risk up front. When you know your risk up front, you avoid situations like this, because these situations make it very hard to recover losses. So when you have those big losses, it hits hard. It's hard and it takes a long time to recover. But to protect yourself, you have to have a built-in protection plan. So with the right system in place, you're taking care of risk management before you even open the trade. And when you can confidently select your stocks, set your trades up in a way that reduces risk, it allows you to preserve and grow your capital. Now, like I said earlier, home runs look good, but singles are what win the games. Now, one of the most common questions we get asked is, can I trade an option from my IRA? And a client of ours, John, grew his IRA over 112% in 1 year using our paycheck system. I also have a small account I trade in my IRA as well. John had tried and struggled with trading for some time before working with us. He learned to follow the system, and he turned his inconsistent results into predictable monthly income. He said in 12 months, he enjoyed 85% winning trades and more than doubled the size of his IRA while spending no more than 15 minutes per day on his trading. Now, the options paycheck system makes sure you reduce your risk even before you open the trade. First, we choose stocks that are low risk. We have a very specific criteria, but in general, if we're bullish, we start by focusing on good stocks that are already rising in price, similar to what you see here. Then, instead of selling naked, we're going to sell with protection. So let me show you how to do this. Okay? Remember when I told you about one bad trade can wipe out a bunch of winners? That's what happens when you sell options that are called naked with no protection. A traditional option selling system leaves you with all of this risk. If the stock drops down tremendously, your $1,000 winner can be a $10,000 loser. Can't have that. So what we're going to do is reduce our risk to this. So let me show you how this works. Again, graph of a typical stock we'd be bullish on. It's a beautiful graph, so it's understandable to be bullish on a stock that looks like this. Now, traditionally, people would go out and buy the stock here, right at the current price. Maybe they're going to buy a call, and they're going to use that as their stock price. They're not going to buy that call that's way up above the market, right? But we're not the buyer anymore. We're the seller. Here's what we're going to do. When you think a stock will go up, you sell a put below the stock price. Stock's at 138. In this case, we sell a 135 put, right? Now, when you sell a put, you are getting paid. In this example, we get paid $200 per contract. 10 contracts would be $2,000. Now that's great, right? You have no downside protection. Now, one of the things you have to understand about selling an option, it's not like when you sell your car, you sign the title over and it goes away. When you sell an option, options are like, the best way I could describe an option is like an insurance contract, right? You buy car insurance, house insurance, whatever. I just paid my car insurance. It was like $1,800 for a year of coverage, right? I just switched car insurance companies. I saved a ton of money, by the way. It's not a commercial or anything. I'm not going to tell you who. But I pay I lied. It's like $2,200 for the year for all my cars. Now, that premium protects my car for the next year. My insurance company doesn't just take that check, cash it, and walk away. For the next year, they are protecting my capital. If I wreck my car, they will pay to fix it. So it's not like they're just keeping the premium. Now, at the end of a year, if I don't have any losses, they keep the premium. I had protection. They walk away and they win. Selling an option is kind of the same way. I am selling this put, and on that sell, I am telling the options world that I am willing to buy the stock at 135 if I am called upon to do so. Okay? I'm not going to. I'm never going to own the stock, but I'm willing to take the risk to buy the stock for 135. So as you can see, if the stock drops down, way down to like $100, and I got to buy the stock at 135, that's a serious problem, right? Without built-in protection, you have the opportunity here to lose a lot of money. Unacceptable. What we're going to do is we are going to reduce the risk to this. How do we do it? Well, we are going to use some of that premium that we received, and we are going to buy an insurance policy. So when we sold the option, we received $200. We're going to use $100 of that to buy an insurance contract that says if the stock goes down to, let's say, $100 a share, I now have the option, if I am forced to buy the stock at $135, I can turn around and sell it to somebody else for $130 no matter what the stock does. Now let me explain. I've never actually done that before. I've never actually had to use my quote-unquote insurance policy. So people might ask, well, Ron, if that's the case, why do you use the insurance policy? Because I like having disaster insurance just in case. And then number two, it reduces the amount of money I need to trade. It makes it a low-risk trade. There's all kinds of reasons why you buy insurance, right? It's like your car. Yeah, I can afford to lose my car, but I'm not going to. I'm going to pay a very small fee and have all my assets protected. Same thing with a trade. Now, in this trade, you're going to get paid $100. You took in $200 to sell the put, you used $100 of it to buy your insurance, now you get $100. If you do this on 10 contracts, you can now get paid $1,000. And that becomes the most amount of money you can win on this trade. Your maximum profit now is $1,000. So, what we're looking at now is, as long as the stock stays above 135, you can make up to $1,000. If the stock goes sideways, it doesn't matter. As long as it stays above 135, you can still make $1,000. Now, here's the kicker. If the stock drops below 135, we are going to exit the trade and take a small proportional loss. So we're not going to hang on to this trade forever. If you bought 1,000 shares of this stock, you're just not going to hold on to the stock till it goes to $100 a share. Eventually, you're going to have what's called a stop in place, right? Your give up point. We do the same with an options trade. It's no different ultimately than buying stock. You're going to have the same idea. You're going to have a profit target. You're going to have a stop where you give up. It's the same principle. The only difference is instead of buying the stock, we're using options as a proxy. Okay? Same idea. We have a built-in profit target. We have a built-in exit. We have a predicted gain. We have a predicted loss. Everything is beautiful. Now, let's do this. I want to look at a couple of trades that I did with my clients. I want to help you get a better understanding of how to set these things up. So I want to show you some numbers now. So you'll definitely need to kind of be paying attention here. Now, first and foremost, when the market is bullish, we are placing bullish income trades. And here's a quick tip. We focus our trades based off of probability. I want to make sure when I set up my trade, I have a base of a 60% probability or more of making money. So let me show you a couple trades here. This is PHM, Pulte Group. Now this is from last year, okay, then again, I did this trade live in front of my coaching students. This is an example of a stock that you'd want to be bullish on. Look at it, moving from lower left to upper right. So PHM is trading at about $76. Now, here's what's going to happen. For those of you that are kind of familiar with options, or those of you that have never looked at options before, options have what's called a built-in probability. These probabilities are assigned by the market. They could be assigned by volatility. There's a couple different calculations that they use. I'm not going to get into all the gory details here because it would take me 3 hours to do the class instead of an hour. But we think this stock is going to go up. So what I do is I pull up an option chain in my broker, in my Software Options Pro, whatever I'm using, and I look at what the puts are looking like. I'm going to look for puts that expire within 21 to 45 days. And here's what I see. I see that this stock, if it's $76, if I go and sell a $75 put on this $76 stock, I have a 56% chance of staying above that, which means I have a 56% chance of winning this trade. If I go down to $73, that's B, I have a 73% probability of staying above $73 and making money. If I go all the way down to C at $70, I have a 91% probability of staying above. So let me illustrate this a little bit more, okay? All I really need is for the stock to stay above one of these three levels, generally speaking, for the next 7 to 10 days. That's all I really need. So if I sell a $75 put, I basically have a 56% chance of making money. If I sell a $73 put, I have a 73% chance of making money. If I sell a $70 put, I have a 91% chance of making money. Now, let me ask you a question. Without knowing anything else, if I were to tell you, again, clear your minds, right? Clear your minds. If I were to tell you, you could be 56% right, 73% right, or 91% right, what would you rather be? What would you rather be in the grand scheme of things? 56, 73, or 91% right? Exactly. You'd rather be 91% right. Who wouldn't want to be 91% right? Paul and Brian and all those guys. Who wouldn't want to be right? But here is where it gets you. Okay? Here's where they get you. Let's say you pick C. You can make $1,000 on a winning trade, but on the losing trade, you lose $15,000. How excited would you be to be 91% right? You take 9 winning trades in a row and you make $9,000. Then, one losing trade comes in, wipes out all of your returns. That's the problem. As much as I would love to be 91% right overall, that's just not going to happen. Okay? 91 is too much. So there is a risk-reward element to this as well. Now, if you remember from that slide, I want to be a base 60% probable. So knowing that 56 doesn't have enough probability and 91 has too much, what probability would you really pick? A, B, or C? Exactly, B. Tarek, you got that one. So again, I'm just kind of shouting the first names that come out. So exactly. Now, when I did this trade at B, 73% probability. Now, what that means is this was the trade I did. This is called a bull put spread. Aptly named, by the way, because it's bullish. It's something you do when the stock is bullish or the market's bullish. We're using puts. Remember how I said if you think the stocks go up, you're going to sell a put below the current price? I sold a $73 put, and then I bought as my insurance a 70. Now, in this trade, my initial take, when I did this trade, it gave me about a $1,700 credit. That's how much I took in when I placed this trade. After 3 days, I was able to exit the trade and make $876. Now remember, I told you guys earlier, when you trade options like this, when you trade these spreads, these are like when you strike like you're trading a stock, right? You have a profit target that you exit the trade at. You have an exit where if you take too much of a loss, it's just like any other stock trade. The only difference is you're trading an option. Now, why did I take profits at 876? Because when I take these trades, my goal is to make about 50% of the premium I collected. So if I took in $1,700 when I started, my goal is to take in about half that of 876. And when I get 876 in profits, I exit the trade. Simple as that. Now, when the market turns bearish, we place bearish income trades. Now, in 2023, we had runs where the market was bullish, and we had runs where it was bearish. This is Target. Target was last year in an extended downtrend. And one of the things I liked about it, it had just broken past that low right there. So it just broke below a big support level. At the time, Target was trading for about $131. Now again, I think the stock is going to go down. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to look up in this area and I am going to sell a call. When I think a stock is going to go down, I sell calls. So I look at my option broker and I see that I have, let me take all this, all that off there. So I look at my options broker and I see that this stock that's at 131, I can sell a 135 and get a 64% probability of winning, a 140 and I can get a 76% probability of winning, or I can do a 145 and get an 85% probability of winning. Now, based on what you know now, which one would you pick? Which one would be acceptable? All right, lots of folks are saying B. JT, Emmanuel, Paul, and then Al, you said C. Okay, now, everybody that said an answer is right. B is a good answer. C is a good answer. They're all good. Now, Ron, if you're in a situation like this, which option would you choose? Well, here's where it really comes down to narrowing it down. It really comes down to risk. 64% is perfectly fine. You're greater than 60%, you're good. 76% is actually the one that I chose. Now, why did I choose 76%? Knowing that B and C are both fine. This comes down to risk now. When you get into the nuts and bolts of the trade, what you're going to do is you are going to sell the option which gives you the most probability of winning that still has a good risk-reward outcome. So if I can sell an option that gives me a 76% chance of winning, where I can make $1,000 and maybe only lose $1,200 or $1,300, I'm going to do it. Okay? I'm going to do it. But if that 76% option was a $1,000 gain and a $7,000 loss, I'm probably not going to do it. I'll go to that C option, which is probably $1,800. So now it comes down to risk, right? We're building the probabilities as we come in here. Now, this was done, again, as one trade. This is called a bear call spread. Again, aptly named, right? Why was it aptly named? Because it's a bear call spread. It's bearish. Calls, I'm selling a 140 call and I'm buying a 145, so it's a call spread. Now, when I did this trade, I took in approximately $1,500. So when I took on the trade, I got paid $1,500. My goal is to lock in about 50% of that, around $750. So I was in this trade for 7 trading days. You can see, I took the trade right here. Over about 7 days, the market really didn't come down all that much. It went from like 130 to 127. Didn't come down a whole heck of a lot. But the typical trade is about 7 to 10 days, and I walked away with a $765 profit, minus commission, by the way. That's how it works. Now, another client I worked with is Jim, and he said prior to working with me, he told me his results were inconsistent, and he felt very unsatisfied. He kept thinking that there had to be something else out there that was better. You ever feel that way, like there's something more out there? Jim said he wanted a way to supplement what he was doing and would provide more of a regular income and had a higher probability of success. He said after learning the system of being an option seller, he told me he had 21 winners in a row and returned 76% in about 8 months, and his average trade only lasted 8 days. Can you imagine how that must feel from being inconsistent to where all of your trades are generating income? Now, I want you to think about this. This was Jim. What about you? What would an income system like this allow you to do? Think about that in your own life. Hey, I've got $25,000 I can put towards this. Ron says I can average about 3% a month. What would that do? What would that allow you to do? A little more freedom? A little more vacation? Pay off your bills a little bit faster, get the mortgage paid for? What would an income system like this allow you to do in your own life? Hey? I like it. Travel more. That's the first one I saw. Golf. I'd like to play more golf. I pretty much gave up on golf over the past couple of years because my kids are young. I have like a 3-year-old, a 4-year-old, and a 7-year-old. I'm a late bloomer, so I'm 48 and I have 3 young kids. But I bowl and I play golf. I stayed with bowling because it's easier, and I gave up golf for a couple of years so my kids are older. All right. Now, we said before that buying is gambling and selling is about controlling risk and putting the odds of success in your favor. That's how you generate income. Now, our options paycheck system makes sure you have a guaranteed maximum risk. We never go into a trade without knowing what our risk is. Because if you don't know what your risk is, you can't be safe. So it all goes back to whether, again, you want to be that gambler or the casino. Now, keep in mind, the house always wins in the end. You know, there's an old saying that the whole Las Vegas desert was built up with a 1% edge, just many, many times over. Being an option seller is the way that you can make consistent income each month. It allows you to do it more safely with a higher probability of success than simply buying and selling stocks. Now, let's put this together. I want to show you how you can have a bulletproof system that you can do in as little as 15 minutes a day. And my students who've implemented this system have told me this is one of the most important things they learned. Why? One of the biggest things people ask me is how much time is it going to take me? And it's a great question. Well, here's the challenge. There's thousands of stocks out there. You got to know how to find the right stock, pick the right one, which option strategy, when do you get in, what expiration, what price, what do you do if it goes against you, when do you get out? And with all that, people are like, it's trying to find a needle in a haystack. There's so much information out there, you don't know where to look. You end up spending hours researching your trades, or you just go from guru to guru looking for advice. Without a system, you're trading blindly. You're like a mouse running through a maze, bumping into wall after wall. You don't know where to go. It's stressful. It's disheartening. But with the right system, you can identify good trades, get reliable income in as little as 15 minutes a day. But to do it, you need a system, and not just any system. A straight line system. A really simple way to know when to place your trades, how to find them, how to set them up, and how to manage them. So let me walk you through the pieces of the options paycheck system in the order they go in. No one else teaches option selling in this way. This is like the secret sauce, to use a silly expression. There are 6 pieces. The top 5 build on each other, and then the 6th kind of ties it all together. At the top of the system is market direction. A lot of traders ignore this, and they just go out and start placing trades. You're going to be placing trades that are either bullish or bearish. So you have to have a way to know the market's direction. By doing this, you're narrowing your focus. So instead of looking at everything, you're only looking at one of possible 2 scenarios. Okay? Our paycheck system has a timing signal built in that we use to tell us the market's direction. After you know the direction of the market, you want to find stocks that are highly likely to move in the same direction. So just trading the stocks you know or listening to the gurus on TV, it's not the best choice for this. What you want to do is find good stocks already in uptrends when the market's rising. You want to find bad stocks in downtrends when the market's falling. And our paycheck system saves a lot of time in 2 ways. We look at 2 main things: fundamentals and price trend. So basically fundamentals and how the graph looks. We have pre-built searches in our VectorVest platform we use instead of digging through all the data the institutions throw at you. Now, once you have a list of stocks, you want a way to select the best ones for option trading. Earlier, we looked at how big of an effect volatility had on options price. The options paycheck system focuses on selling options with volatility in the upper end of the range, but we don't stop there. To take even more risk out of the trade, we filter out those with upcoming earnings and make sure the expiration date is in the sweet spot. Now, while you can use tools from brokers to help you, we happen to have a proprietary search tool which finds these options candidates really in a matter of seconds. Now it's time to set up the trade. We pick the one that has the highest probability of success that we can use. Using the strike prices, right? We want to pick a strike price that has at least a 60% probability with an expiration of 21 to 45 days away. But the final check is we want to make sure we have the best possible risk to reward ratio. I don't want to take a trade that I have a $1,000 potential gain on and a $5,000 potential loss. It's not worth it to me. Okay? That's the last line of defense. Before you place the trade, you got to know what the trade does if it goes for you, but also goes against you. I don't want you sitting in a trade feeling frozen like a deer in the headlights because you don't know what to do. Our options paycheck system has rules to take profits at predetermined levels. These can be set up in advance with your broker. And if a trade goes against you, we have a simple adjustment strategy that brings in even more income to help you minimize your losses. We also know exactly when to exit a trade. And depending on your broker, I can set that order up in advance so it happens automatically and really unemotionally for me. And then the final piece here is you'd like a way to do it quickly. You don't want to be spending all day in the process. You need a tool that allows you to do these things. It should be something you're comfortable using. Now, some brokers have tools that are better than others. Some you might find paid tools to be very effective. I like to use a proprietary tool from VectorVest called Options Pro, and it saves me a lot of time. Now, earlier we talked about Mike and Jim, and each of them is getting their results in about 15 minutes a day. Well, so is Hugh. In fact, he told me one of his biggest struggles was finding a system that was efficient and worked. He said he sought that proper balance between trading and free time. He didn't have a proper work-life balance. Are you like that too? Do you spend too much time on things you don't want to do and not enough time doing things you want to do? Now that Hugh learned the options paycheck system of selling options, he said he has more confidence, more free time, and is able to have more fun. In his first 43 trades, he said he had 38 winners and returned over $26,000 in 4 months. So I want you to do this little exercise for you. I want you to take your pen. I want you to put a little star next to the part of your system where you're good. So for example, if you have a quick way to find a list of stocks likely to go in the direction of the market, put a little star there. If there's an area where something isn't working or you need a little work, put a frowny face there. For example, if you don't know how to manage or repair a trade, put a frown there, okay? Don't overthink it. I want you to take about 10 seconds, give yourself a star or a frown. And I'm willing to bet maybe 1 in 100 investors will ever know how to do this. So take about 10 seconds and kind of judge yourself, where you're good, where you could use a little bit of work. Now let me ask you, what areas do you need to work on? Share with me in the chat window. Tell me what areas that you need to work on. First one I see off the bat, I'm not too familiar with options, so everything options related. Not a bad place to be. I'll be honest with you. I like working with beginners because a beginner, I can teach you from the ground floor the right way to do this. You know, I always look back and I think about golf. I even think about bowling, right? I'm actually pretty good at bowling. I'm actually mediocre at golf. But I wish that I could go back to when I first started either of those activities or sports, whatever you want to call them, doesn't matter to me. And I wish that I could forget everything I know about them and go back to the basics with a good instructor. I can't do that now. So my life is now spending all my time and effort in those two sports overcoming bad things I've learned over the past 30 years. You know, so don't be afraid if you're a beginner. Okay, option selection, Adrian Tarek, you're a beginner as well. Same thing, I'm new to this stuff, I'm going to be scared. So don't worry about it. All of them, bearish trades, setup, it's all good, okay? What we need to do is get you to where you have stars all the way down, because once you do, you'll be able to generate income every month and do it in less than 15 minutes a day. So listen, I can't know exactly what your reasons are for coming to today's webinar, but I'm going to make a few guesses. Maybe you've been trading blindly. You don't know what to do. You feel like you're trading blindly again, bumping from one wall into the next. You make a little bit of money, you lose it all in the next trade. You're getting inconsistent results. Just like Jim said he did before he learned the options paycheck system. Maybe you're suffering through loss after loss, and those small losses are killing your portfolio. The money coming in isn't exceeding the money going out. Ultimately, you're just not where you want to be. Now, today I showed you the secret to fixing that. It's a secret, again, only 1 in 100 investors will probably ever know. And now you're one of them. You saw how you can win even if you're wrong on the direction of the trade. How you can do it using insurance to do it with very little risk. It's even less risk than buying and selling stocks. You saw a system to get consistent income every month. And I showed you just a few of the many people who use the system every day so they never have to worry about retirement ever again. You saw over and over that secret to generating consistent income is that shift from being the gambler to being the casino. You're going to be that one investor out of 100 who knows that secret. That means there's 99 other investors who will continue to do things wrong. They'll be buying options, making all the mistakes we talked about. Can't stop them from doing it. There's always going to be those investors out there who will buy options incorrectly. Let them be the gamblers. As long as there are gamblers out there, you may as well be the casino. Remember the old saying, the house always wins in the end. The options paycheck system teaches you how to stack the probability of success in your favor. Just like Brian did. Just like Bruce. Like Bob. Like Jim. Like Hugh. Like John and his IRA. So if you're like most people, you're wondering, how can I implement this in my portfolio fast? Well, you have a choice. Option number one is you can choose to do absolutely nothing and stay where you are right now. And if you already have enough money to retire, you're not worried about running out of money, then maybe you don't need the paycheck system. Great place to be. But if you're like 99.99% of other people and you want some extra income every month, that leaves you with two other options. Option two is you can choose to do it alone. You can try to learn how the option trades work, try to figure out the direction of the market, learn to analyze thousands of stocks to find the best ones, hope you pick the right one, manage it correctly. If you're willing to work hard, spend hours in front of your computer, and you're willing to learn by trial and error, you might be able to pull it off. Option three is to let us guide you through it. I'll walk you through each piece of the options paycheck system, and in just a few weeks, You'll have a simple system to follow that doesn't take a lot of time. So of those 3 options, ask yourself, what's going to be easier for you? Now, there's 2 types of people. Person number 1 is someone who dreams about their financial goals, but they never take action or do anything to make it happen. Person number 2 is someone who's serious about their financial future. You're ready to take action when you see an opportunity in front of you. Now, since you're dedicated enough to be with me to this point, I'm willing to bet you're person number 2, and that makes you the perfect candidate to get started on that first options paycheck. So let me tell you what we put together for you. The Options Paycheck Experience, it's the most comprehensive program for generating consistent income using option spreads, even if you've never traded an option before. The Options Paycheck Experience is the only implementation program of its kind that teaches the secret to generating consistent incomes with options. It shows you exactly how to find, set up, and manage option spreads to generate income and how to do it safely and consistently in any market condition so you never have that fear of running out of money. Now, after going through this experience, you're going to know exactly how calls and puts work, along with all the fancy terms of options, so you never have that fear again. You're going to get clear signals telling you whether to place a bullish trade or a bearish trade, or when not to trade. You're going to be able to quickly identify the stocks that are the best candidates. That's going to free up your time because it's a rules-based approach. There's no ambiguity here. You're going to be able to set up income trades that give you a base level of probability at 70%. You're going to have a trade management game in place prior to placing your trades. You're going to know how to handle any situation the market throws at you. You're going to be able to confidently enter and exit trades with your broker, whether it's your first trade or your 500th trade. We're going to teach you to implement a system that allows you to safely and consistently generate income. That way you can live that lifestyle you want without the fear of running out of money. Now, the course is 8 modules, and we made them so each module builds on the one prior. As you go through the modules, you're getting closer and closer to that end goal, which is a system for consistent income. Now, the first 2 modules are what we call the Options Income Foundation. So for those of you that are new to options, this is where you're going to start. A lot of people try to build a successful income portfolio, but they base it on a weak foundation of knowledge. And listen, we understand what it's like to learn options for the first time. We've been there too. That's why it pays to learn from a team who's gone through this before. The outcome you're going to get from Module 1 is you're going to know exactly how calls and puts work so you can confidently use them in your trades. You're going to know which terms to pay attention to, which to ignore, so you don't waste time or get frustrated. In Module 2, you're going to learn what a spread is and how it works. You're going to be filled with confidence to start building an income system around this new trade. Now that you've got that solid foundation of options knowledge, it's time to lay out the step-by-step system to placing income trades that generate your options paycheck. Each step along the way is going to stack probability in your favor and reduce risk. And it all starts with knowing when to trade. Here, you're going to get complete clarity on market trends. So instead of looking at all possible trades, you're going to narrow your focus. You're going to know whether to place bullish trades or bearish trades, and even when not to trade. After you know the direction of the market, you're going to want to find stocks that are highly likely to move in the same direction as the market. That's going to stack probability even more in your favor. The outcome here is you're going to know how to quickly find the best stocks and indexes to trade that give you the highest probability. Now that you got your list of candidates, it's time to narrow it down to the best options trades that give you the highest probability for profits. By using the rules in this module, you're going to make sure you're getting paid top dollar for your trade and making it so you can make money even if the stock goes nowhere. Now, you're going to continue to stack probability and reduce risk in Module 6 by the way you set up your trade. Here, you're going to make sure your trade has the perfect combination of risk to reward, and you're going to know exactly where to set your strikes. Great trades, they don't happen by accident. They happen because of careful planning and strategically setting them up correctly right from the very start. Now that you got your high probability trade picked out, you're ready to go. In Module 7, you're going to learn how to have your plan in place so you know when to exit the trade, not only to take profits, but to minimize losses. You're never going to be frozen like a deer in the headlights again. No matter what the market throws at you, you'll know how to react, which allows you to trade completely stress-free. Now that you found the best stock, you set up your low-risk, high-probability option trade, you mapped out your management game plan, it's time to place your trade. This module will break down the trade execution phase into simple, repeatable steps you can commit to muscle memory in no time. For those of you that are beginners, We put everything you need into a checklist. That way you never miss a step. When someone's first starting out, this is like a security blanket to make sure you're doing everything correctly. Plus, placing trades with your broker can be intimidating. So in addition to video walkthroughs of several popular brokers, we even have click-by-click directions for the most popular broker, Schwab's Thinkorswim platform. Now, before we talk about the low price of the course, I want to make it more low risk for you right from the start. We offer a 100% money-back guarantee on the course. You can go through the entire course, and if you're not satisfied we taught you how to profit using options, just notify us within a week of finishing the course, and you get all your money back. It's completely no risk. All we ask is that you give it your best effort. Come to the classes live, or you can watch the recordings without doing a live class. It's up to you. Do the assignments, because we know if you do, you'll see the results. If you don't do the work, you won't be eligible for a refund. The reason I have such a tight refund policy is because I only want to attract those who are incredibly excited to jump in, do the work, and get the results. I want to attract serious investors. And in order to do that, when I make a really tight refund policy like this, I only attract those people who are serious about getting results. So when you do the system, you're going to be learning a system that averages over 3% per month. That's 36% per year on average. And remember, it doesn't take a lot of time to do this every week. I received this email from a client who took the course. Ron, I'm writing to thank you for teaching the Options Paycheck course. I took your class last fall and wanted you to know my results for the past 10 months. I keep a journal to document every trade. So far, I've profited on 239 trades out of the 350 I've taken, a 68% winning rate. I've profited over 100,000 this time. What's more exciting is that since knowledge and experience have grown in regards to taking really good risk-reward trades, I've profited over 50,000 in the last 6 weeks. My success rate has been 78% over my last 100 trades, and I only take trades with a 2 to 1 or better risk-reward. Thank you for teaching this simple but effective system. A couple things about this letter. Number one, Joe trades a lot more than I do. 350 trades in 10 months. He's averaging about 35 trades a month. That's way more than I do. I average about 10 to 15 trades a month. We have guys like Brian I talked about earlier. He placed 31 trades in 10 months. He's averaging 3 trades a month. Don't think that you have to place 50 trades a month for this to work. You don't have to, okay? This is the nice thing. You can do as little as 1 trade a week. You can do 5 trades a week if you want to. Now, going back to Joe, if I told him I'd give him $100,000 in exchange for his $2,000, do you think he would take that trade? Would you? Well, I've been making you even better off here, as you're going to see in a second. Now, before I tell you any more about it, I want to point something out here. This is not a get-rich-quick scheme. It's not something where you should expect to become a millionaire in 24 hours. It's serious. It requires some effort on your part. So if you're not going to commit to it, then don't do it. It's not for you. It's for serious people who take their investing seriously and who are willing to put in the time to learn the system. So if you're serious about this, you're ready to jump in, do the work, and get the results, then the Options Paycheck course is perfect for you. It is step-by-step training to go from option basics to a full, complete income-generating system. Just these training modules alone are worth the price of the course. However, we got some great bonuses for you as well. Bonus number 1 is what we call the Mastery Package. The Mastery Package includes module-by-module mastery sessions. The course itself is pre-recorded. You can go out there and watch the recordings at your leisure. But each week, we're going to have 2 mastery sessions that are live, one dedicated to each module. That way you master the course material. Plus, we record them. So you don't have to come to the live curriculum if you don't want to. You can just watch the recordings that we do. Then on Friday, I'll have an additional live Q&A sessions. That means you're going to have 3 live sessions a week that you can come to if you want to. That way you can get live, direct interaction on your questions. We also include a private, dedicated email support with me and the team. Additionally, if you don't already have it, starting with the first live class, we're going to give you access to both VectorVest and Options Pro. That way you can test drive the best tools on the planet to help you implement the paycheck system. With this Mastery Package bonus, you're going to have the tools and support you need to master the techniques caught in the course, so you're going to be able to place that first trade in the shortest amount of time possible. And on that note, the second bonus is what we call the Implementation Month. You're going to get access to my live trading sessions. During those sessions, you're going to watch me select, set up, and place trades in real time. Plus, I'll show you how I manage my existing trades each week. This is such a huge bonus. You're going to see the paycheck system in action, and you can follow along in your own account if you want to. I'm also going to hold live office hours twice a week. Together, we're going to walk you through the system step by step in real time. Our past students have said this is one of the most favorite parts of the course. Watching the repetition really helps cement the concepts and the processes for them. If you're worried it might be too much, I also have a bonus called the SPX Paycheck System. This is where you can take the entire course and boil it down to something you can do in as little as 15 minutes a week. It's one trade, it's one ticker symbol, one setup rule, one profit criteria, one stop rule. It's simple, it's easy to do. My teammate Brian taught this to his 14-year-old daughter, and she was able to do the trades. Okay? For many of my students, it's the only system that they actually use. So, as a recap, with today's offer, you're going to get the complete options paycheck training module, or a training program that includes 8 training modules, videos, checklists, cheat sheets, quizzes, slides. You're going to get the bonus mastery package, the implementation month bonus, and that SPX paycheck system. All added up, it's about a value of about $54.75. But here's the opportunity in front of you. I'm going to roll up my sleeves, work with a couple hundred people who are serious about generating income. And if you choose to be one of them, we're going to create an income system in your portfolio, even if you've never had success with options before. You're going to do this. We're going to do this with you. So if you want to join me, have me take you by the hand and help you install an options income system in your portfolio, then instead of that $5,000, the early bird price of the course is only $1,295. Now, because you've spent about an hour with me today, here's what I want to do for those of you that are here with me live on the course. If you order before the end of the webinar today, you just got to go to www.optionspaycheck.com. You can get it for $9.95. Okay? That means you're going to get the full course, 1 year of access to the course materials, the mastery package, the implementation month, all for $9.95. And that $9.95 price will be only for those who registered before we finish up today. Once we finish up, the price goes back to $12.95. So all you got to do is go to www.optionspaycheck.com, get yourself signed up. Don't wait. Get this early price of $9.95. And listen, I know that $9.95, it's money. But you got to ask yourself, what's it going to cost you not to do this? How much money are you going to lose by trying to do this by trial and error? How much profit are you going to miss out on? How much time and energy are you going to spend trying to do this on your own? Then ask yourself, how would your life be different if you did it and it works? And remember, we've got that 30-day, or we got that 100% money back guarantee. All you got to do is let us know a week after the end of the course, and you get your money back if you don't think it's right for you. There's a saying that the best time to plant an oak tree is 20 years ago, so you can be sitting under it now enjoying the shade. Do you know when the second best time is? It's today. It's not too late to begin to prepare yourself for retirement and learn to generate income. This is going to be one of those deciding days in your life. Is it going to be the day you decide to take action and set yourself up for secure retirement? Or is it going to be the day you look back on where you squandered an amazing opportunity to create a consistent income stream? I hope you don't regret the decision you make. Don't miss the opportunity. I look forward to working with all of you in our class. Now again, go to www.optionspaycheck.com, get yourself registered. That $9.95 price is only available while we're live on the webinar. So if you've never taken the Options Paycheck course before and you want the lowest possible price, now's the time. After the webinar ends, the price increases to $12.95. Don't wait or you're going to miss out. Go to www.optionspaycheck.com right now and fill in your details. And let me know. If you know this is right for you and you're joining me, just let us know in the chat. When I say, hey, Ron, I'm in. We'd love to welcome you to the class by name. Now, before we get into the Q&A, I want to cover a couple of questions that everybody's asking for. So let's talk about this. I mentioned earlier that this is a live course and also recorded. Well, when are the live sessions and what happens if I miss one? All right. So the live course officially begins with a welcome session on July 30th. We're going to do a welcome session at 4:30. The official teaching starts on the 31st. That's the mastery session. So if you sign up tonight or today, okay, it's like 1 o'clock in the afternoon, you're going to get access to all of the course materials with the exception of Options Pro and VectorVest. We have to start that at the beginning of the live curriculum. So you won't have that until the August 1st, okay? But you'll be able to watch all the videos. You don't need the software yet. You don't really need the software until we start getting into Module 3 and Module 4, okay? So sign up today. Start watching Module 1. By Wednesday, the 31st of July, have Module 1 looked at. Look over the materials if you'd like. But we're going to start officially doing the live course on the 30th, the material on the 31st. Okay? These are all live sessions. Tuesday and Thursdays at 4:30, Friday at noon Eastern Time. Do you have to come to these classes? The answer is no, you do not. They are all recorded. You do not ever have to come to a live course. Ron, why do we have so many live sessions? Because we want to make sure that we have enough out there that if you want that direct interaction with us, that you have an opportunity to do it. You don't have to come to any of these if you don't want to. You can watch the recordings. Same thing when we get to September. Can't believe we're already getting into September. This is when we start our live implementation month. We're going to spend the month of August making sure you understand how to do the trades. Then in September, we're going to work with you on live trading. Okay, so you're going to see how our schedule shifts when we get into September. Monday, we do our live trading events. Tuesdays and Fridays, we have our office hours. Okay, Tuesday and Fridays, we do that. And then again, 4:30 p.m., noon on Friday. You're going to be able to ask us questions. We're going to go over the repetition of learning how to place these trades consistently. You know, another one of our clients, previous to this, Greg, prior to the course, I struggled with knowing how to protect myself when the market was moving away from me. I feared if I didn't fix it, I'd lose more of my portfolio than I could afford to lose. After taking the options paycheck, I feel much better prepared to trade and much more confident. In the first month, I made over a net of $10,200 for my options income trading with 9 winners and 1 loser. I would absolutely recommend the course. It was well done, very educational and informative. It's an excellent educational opportunity I'm thankful I took advantage of. Don't let fear hold you back. You'll make more in the first month than you paid to take the course. I was one of the fence sitters who didn't take this course for a long time when I saw it offered. I lost a lot by not taking the program sooner. I'm very grateful and appreciative of the work that was put into making this training program available. Now, I know a lot of you mentioned that you're new to options, so you got to ask, how much options experience do I need? We poll all of our attendees that have taken the course over the last 9 years. 85% of the course graduates said you can be successful with little to no prior options experience. The statistics and the probability is on your side. You can do this. Just like clients again. Cheryl, I've surpassed my expectations. I don't need the money back guarantee. I tripled my investment. We already talked about Bruce. Frank, after taking the course, I have a profit of $7,300. Before the course, it was a crapshoot. Now I believe in the options trading I'm doing. Cam, I've made back the initial investment so many times over, even though it's a small part of my portfolio, it's probably the most profitable. John, I finally found a method of consistent winning trades with a high probability of success. Here's some more comments from our most recent students. Neville said, thanks for a wonderful course. Within a short time, you opened our eyes to many things. Your experience, enthusiasm, your desire to teach comes through easily. You put a lot of thought into the trading manual, already paid for the tuition with a few 35 Delta SPX trades. David, the options paycheck experience, by far the best course I've ever attended in all my years of VectorVest. You've eliminated my fear of trading options. The manner in which you present the material is truly outstanding. Ben, the attention I received for all my email questions was above and beyond what I expected. A lot of my questions were demonstrated in class, which made my learning much, much easier. Great job. So again, get out there, get to www.optionspaycheck.com, get yourself registered. Take advantage of that $9.95 price. Remember, you have that money back guarantee to stop you. If you're wondering if you're on the fence, let us show you how to do this. You have protection. It's just like when we trade, right? We buy that insurance policy. You have that insurance policy as well. All right, let's do this. I want to start the Q&A. If you have any follow-up questions, I'm going to bring my colleague in, Brian, and Brian's going to join me, and he's going to moderate with me the Q&A.
All right, fantastic. Thanks, Ron.
All right, good deal. And since I started my YouTube late, you are working on YouTube. I wanted to verify that with you.
Yes. All right, so Ron, great to have all the people who are in. Welcome to all of you. You should get an email from us with the details. All you have to do is go to optionspaycheck.com. You'll notice that there is, as Ron said, the $9.95 is only good for a short amount of time while we're live here today, so take advantage of that. And all you have to do is click on the register button. In fact, Ron, are you able to do that while we're here? Just show everybody what it's like. Just go to optionspaycheck.com and kind of walk them through it.
Absolutely. Give me 1 second here. My mumbled typing. Here we go. All right. Options paycheck. There we go. So as you guys can see, you have 28 minutes to take advantage of that offer. 28 minutes and 20 seconds. All you got to do, right there, right smack dab in the middle, it says register today. Click that button. And you'll see right here, enroll in the options paycheck experience. Buy now and save. It says $9.95. Click right there. That's going to take you to our order form. And there you go right there. And all you got to do is just type in your email, right, Brian?
Yeah. And if for some reason something doesn't work for you, or if you just want to speak to a real human being, I know sometimes I like to do that. I like to get that comfort sometimes, but you could place it online if you want. If you would like to talk to somebody, we'll put a phone number in the chat, and it's 888-658-7638. So John or Todd, can you put that into the chat for everybody? So that's one thing to help everybody with. Remember that $9.95 is good for a short amount of time. Registration officially closes for the course about 2 weeks from now, and then Ron will start up live sessions in a couple of weeks as well with everybody. So that's something to look forward to. But check your email after you place your order. All the details will be in that email for you. So let's see. We do have some questions that came in. I'm going to try and go through them as and queue them up. But Ron, could you, since one of the questions was about the recorded modules, what do they look like? How long are they there? It might be good just to kind of show people what it looks like inside the course. So
Sure.
maybe you can just say, hey, this is what it looks like, and kind of give them a tour.
All right, perfect. I was ready for that. So this is what it looks like when you actually purchase the course and you log into it for the first time. So you're going to see a big screen with your video right here. I'll go ahead and accept cookies there. You're going to see a big screen with the videos. Over here on the left-hand side, this is where you're going to see all the lessons and all the materials that you need. So as you scroll down, you're going to see the Welcome to the Options Paycheck Experience. The first thing I would want you to do, obviously you can watch the Let's Getting Started and all that stuff first. That's just a good intro to what we're doing. But I want you to focus on the course curriculum checklist first. If you open that up, you're going to see a checklist for the course. Now, this is important because of a couple things. The first thing is it gives you really a list of what we want to make sure that you're accomplishing on each one of the modules. Remember, there's 8 modules of the Options Paycheck curriculum. So there's going to be a page, and my web browser is a little bit slow right now here in my office, but there's going to be a PDF that's going to pop up there that you can load, okay? That PDF is going to give you kind of, here's what we want you to do for each lesson. And then next, let me just refresh this real quick because, again, my screen is really slow. Well, we'll let that come up, but it doesn't make a difference. And then there's also in there a live curriculum slide where you're going to see all of the live classes, and I'll go back to that once it loads. But then over here on the left, for every module, you're going to see recorded lessons. Every module is broken down into individual lessons, okay? They're all about 5 to 15, maybe even 20 minutes long, and they break down each of the lessons in sections. Under our review questions, this is where you're going to see quizzes. So you're going to have the opportunity to go in there and do a self-quiz. We have action items walkthroughs. The action item walkthroughs is every session or every module has some things that we want you to look at. Hey, go find this in your broker. Hey, go do this. Put a trade together. And we have videos that walk you through that. And then under the FAQs, what's going to happen there is these are frequently asked questions. Okay, so your first line of answers is to go look at the FAQs. And what those FAQs are going to do for you, they are going to allow you to, to look for questions that are commonly asked. Okay, and then unfortunately, let me do this real quick here because my Chrome actually has locked up. That's my problem. My web browser locked up on me. Bear with me again. Let me open that back up. And let me go back in there. I apologize for sometimes technology, I'll tell you. Let me go back in there. There we go. All right, there we go. Sorry about that. So as you can see, that was the course curriculum checklist, and you can see it's got a list of all of our live curriculum. And then again, I talked about under the option foundation, under the modules themselves, the big section here is the mastery session recording. So like for instance, module 1's mastery session is going to be, and let me scroll back up here, July 31st at 4:30 p.m. So if you're looking for the recording to that class, it's going to be right under here. And then you're going to see all of the modules underneath that as it goes on. Okay, and let's take a look here. And man, I don't know what is going on with my web browser today. It is just locking up left and right here. Sometimes technology is not on your side. Bear with me a second again as I Control-Alt-Delete this thing. I think my computer needs a good old-fashioned reload. All right. All right. So, as you scroll through all the modules, okay, you're going to start seeing some of the other stuff. The bonus modules for the SPX Paycheck. You're going to see the recording area for all of our office hours and Q&As. Our recording area for the live trading sessions. We also have, because part of your order does include Options Pro, we have some tutorial videos. We have a section for all of our broker help videos. So this will teach you how to find trades and brokers. This will teach you how to place orders. And then we have all of our live webinar links. So if you're ever wondering, how do I get to a live webinar? I didn't get an email or something. So open up that live webinar link, and these are going to be the links for all of your live webinars. And then last but certainly not least, under resources, this is where you can find all of the slides. So you can print out the slides, take notes on them, everything that you need. As we get into the later modules, like Module 7 and Module 8, we've got our action sizing worksheet, we've got our spread checklist, everything that you're going to need to take advantage of working with the options paycheck. And sorry about that little internet issue there with my browser, but it looks like it kind of healed itself now. But that's a little tour through the university site for the options paycheck. You're going to get access to that as soon as you sign up.
All right. And Ron, I think you mentioned this earlier. You could jump forward. What a lot of people do is they jump forward to the bonus module on SPX, because that only takes about 60 minutes or 90 minutes to go through, and you could actually be up and running and maybe even place your first trade next week if you wanted to. And
yeah, you really can. I mean, it's, if you want to jump in and get a head start on something. Now, the one thing I will tell you, there's people that do that, and there's nothing wrong with that. Just understand that the SPX is kind of a system that's going to tell you what to do, not necessarily why. So we're going to tell you exactly what option to sell, exactly how to manage your trade. And you're going to be like, well, why do I do that, Ron? Well, to learn the whys, that's the 8 modules of the options paycheck course. So as long as you're okay with saying, okay, I'm going to do this like the paycheck, like the SPX paycheck says to do, and then I'm going to learn the whys as part of the 8 modules, you're okay. You're in good shape. So I want to let you know about that.
All right, a few rapid fire answers to some questions. How long do you have access to the course material? You have access to for a full year, so you can go through it. You don't have to rush. You can go through it at your own pace. Is there anything that would be charged to you after the course ends? No. All right, so you can go through the course and you're not locked into any contracts or whatever with us. You could hopefully, like a lot of Ron's students over the many years that we've taught this, you'll be able to pay for the course very quickly, basically pay yourself back for the investment in the course. That's always a tremendous feeling when you pay for a course and then you see a return on investment fairly quickly. So hopefully that'll be for you. We've had a lot of people that's happened for. Let's see. So Ron, other questions that have come in. Since we were just talking about the SPX, Ron, there was a gentleman earlier, and I promised him I would ask his question. I have to scroll back, but he asked it a while ago. But he was asking about what percentage of your trades are S&P related versus stocks, and because he and I were talking about that you do teach both in the course, how to trade the S&P and how to do just stocks. Mm-hmm. But he had said, all right, well, is there a breakdown of the percentage of trades either Ron does or I would do for S&P versus stocks?
I would say, and I'm going to have to guess here because I mentioned at the beginning that my tracker program is not working right now. It's not. There's something wrong with my account that they've got to fix. Normally, I would just pull up my tracking account and show you exactly what it is. But I'm going to guess and say with my best guess, I'm about 20% S&P, 80% stocks. Now that doesn't mean that I make a lot more with stocks. I risk a little bit more with my S&P trades, and I do weight them a little heavier. But the number of trades I place a lot more stock trades than I do SPX trades. But ultimately, in a typical year, my profit split is about half and half, where I would make half my money on SPX trades, another half of my money on stock trades. So it just depends on how you look at it, how it breaks down.
All right, perfect. Thank you, Ron. Mm-hmm. So you already answered a lot of the questions about how long people have access to if they miss a session, they have access to the recordings. So that was good to know. You helped some people out in the chat there. And there's a gentleman, JT, says, where do I find that S&P module? You just have to scroll down. Once you're into the course, JT, just kind of scroll down. There's a bonus module on the S&P. Just kind of scroll down. You will find it there. And so let's see the other questions that come in. Ron, there was a question about brokers. And the gentleman said, oh, what about Webull? Well, we don't have training videos on Webull, and I believe you showed this when you were going through the course there, Ron. Maybe you can touch on brokers. Like, I mean, we have a ton of training videos. Like, what if somebody's broker is not listed there? Are they can they use the existing videos that are there for other brokers to help them? Like, what would you say on that?
Yeah, I mean, I can just show you. Here's the brokers that we have access to. Probably sometime in the next 6 months or so, I'm going to be adding Tasty Trade to the mix because I have an account with them now that I opened up that I haven't used yet, and I really haven't done much with their platform. But I'll be adding that probably sometime in the next 6 months or so. I don't want to say like the next 30 days because I don't want to overpromise something. But I will tell you this. Once you get the hang of a broker, you're going to find that other brokers are relatively similar. The phraseology, the options chains, buy to sell or buy to open, sell to close, midpoints, limit orders, they're all basically the same. So, I can tell you this. I've been trading options for a long time, so I have a good background of how to place orders now. I can pretty much go into any broker within a couple minutes because I know the basic concepts of how to do it and get an option trade out there with little problem. And it's not because, again, I'm the expert at every broker platform. I'm not. It's just because I've done it for a long time. So you can watch a Thinkorswim video and look for some of the verbiage, like vertical credit spread, debit, credit, limit orders, stop orders, that kind of thing. And you'll still get a good idea of what you can do in your own platform as well. So I think even if you don't have one of these specific brokers, you'll definitely be able to take advantage of some of the videos out there. But yeah, I only have videos for brokers platforms that I have access to. So and even like a Webull, as long as you can do spreads, you're going to be fine with that. And they're going to have the same kind of things. They're going to have the option chain. They're going to have risk reward. They're going to have all that kind of stuff that you're going to need. So I haven't met too many brokers that don't have that information.
All right. Now, Ron, there was a couple of people who was asking questions about, like, what do I do? Am I going to feel confident to be able to find trades on my own? I'm going to paraphrase the questions into one. They're like, how will I feel confident? So that'll be part one of my question, Ron. What kind of confidence will they have after taking the course that they'll be able to do this on their own? And maybe you could touch on like what you do specifically in the course, not just the videos. The videos, of course, are helpful, but we got a lot of great feedback from your implementation month. Maybe you could touch on how that kind of reinforces that belief and that confidence that they could do it on their own. So what would you tell somebody who's like, oh man, I don't know myself without Ron there after the course?
Yeah, it's a great question because that's a big thing. So what we've done, we always take client feedback to heart. So one of the things that we've learned from our early options paycheck classes is that people really like the repetition. So what we did is we put the course into a 2-month bracket where the first month we learn the material and the second month we work on implementation. So we're going to be with you 4 times a week to practice implementation. Okay? S&P, stocks, through the office hours, 4 times a week through the month of September to make sure you know how to implement this. In September, you're going to see me use VectorVest and Options Pro, but then you're also going to see me use a broker platform to find and place trades as well. So you're going to see, 20, 25 times easily us going through the process using, again, broker software, using VectorVest and Options Pro. You're going to see us over and over again implementing that. So, where before we only had a couple of times of implementing with you, now we've got an entire month that we're going to work together putting these trades on. You can follow along with the trades that I find. You can do trades on your own, run them past me. You're going to get plenty of time in that last month, that implementation month, to make sure that you know what you're doing. I have every confidence in that.
All right, so we're about almost time to wrap it up here. There's about 12 minutes or so left of this $9.95 before it'll reset back to the $12.95. So you still have time for that. And then remember, registration officially closes in about 2 weeks. It'll be Tuesday the 30th. 2 weeks, Tuesday the 30th. All right, so you have some time to register, but remember that $9.95 is good while we're live on the session today. All right, and Ron, I think you covered a lot of the questions. Just a quick reminder, if you do have questions after we get done with the the session today, Todd put our phone number in the chat for you, right? So you could use that phone number and talk to a real live human being, and they could help you out and walk you through and answer whatever questions you might have, in case we might have missed it here today. So Ron, actually, I think I'm ready. We're ready to pass it over to you to wrap up for the day. It's been really fun answering questions in the chat, and we're always excited to do this with you all. Welcome to all of you who have bought and you're in. Hopefully you'll enjoy spending the next week or so and this weekend getting a head start versus everybody else who's going to wait till the very last minute to register. So Ron, I'm going to pass it over to you to wrap up for the day.
All right, excellent. Well, thank you, Brian, and thank you to Todd and John, my other two colleagues that were in the background answering questions. I appreciate it. And especially thanks to all of you. I appreciate you taking about an hour and a half of your time today to spend it with me and learn a little bit more about being an options seller and what that can do for you. So for those of you that signed up, thank you. I appreciate your trust in me. We're going to take the next 2 months and really teach you how to be a good income trader. So thanks again. We'll see you live in a couple of weeks. And for those of you still on the fence, hey, give us a call. Let us know. What can we do to help you make that decision that's right for you? So on that note, thanks again, everybody. Have a great rest of your day. And I look forward to seeing all of you in one of our future Options Paycheck experiences. So thanks again, everybody. And we'll see you next time. Take care, everyone.